Wow, what more can I say? That's just phenomenal. Let's play the Void. Last time we met Una, who's either a disturbing headcase or a worrying nutjob. She did give us some direction, namely all of them, and you can hear by that sound that Mantid is suckling away at the Pangolin reservation that we'll need to go to later. Besides, I can't go there yet. The web glyph was not in Una's chamber, so it must be in one of these two. Patriarch is on his way to the moorage garden. He'll be feeding for a bit and I can't interrupt him, so I may as well go to the hump mine, like a mound or what's found on a humpback whale. Why did I feel the need to clarify that? I'm taking out the gold that I use for Una, since I don't really have any other sources for it right now. There's unfortunately no chance that the scraps in my cave garden will survive the time it will take me to get over there. And I'm putting pretty much everything I've got left into me, since I'm coming up to a fight, and a fight requires as many variants of colour as you can manage. There's just no way of knowing which ones will be more useful.
I don't have much colour left. Please feed me.
Ole chiming in occasionally, trying not to nag but making sure that we remember that she's there every once in a while. My incentive could be completely different if she pestered me like an abused spouse. This chamber isn't very big, it seems far more mine-like, or as if it used to be a quarry. Bastion and possibly phalanx look like they had some previous purpose. These girders could have been used as excavation scaffolding. One of them has snapped off and fallen, lies here precariously between these two ledges. Which initially led me to believe there was some odd physics puzzle used to get the heart up there. But that's not the case, there's just this big wall leading down to a hump of rock. Seems to be spreading out with fingers like the hand of a golem trying to claw its way across the chamber. There's something to be said for the chamber's gradual increase in functionality and movement towards realism, but there'll be far more of that later. For now there's a firefly and I'm gonna get it! Well, I'll make an eye on it and make a move when it stops. It looks like the heart should be accessible from here. You should be able to climb up the rock face and maybe squeeze in between a gap between the wall and the girders. Make your way across the metal shelf, but you can't. If you go up too high, you end up back in the void, which is something unusual. It's moving a bit fast for me, and I want to show off a different catching technique, which may only work when there's only one of them scuttering around on the flat ground, but even so. So if we want to get the heart, there is one thing we do have, and that is the magnet glyph. Oops, almost drew that there. There you go, fairly easy to attract it with a globule whilst being far enough away not to startle it. I don't think that dropping a larger globule helps you attract them from any further away. So I could stand underneath in front of the heart around about here, and since the magnet glyph rises so long as it exists, if you put enough in, it would rise high enough to drag it off its perch. But that's quite a large waste, and there are some vague paths dotted into this cliff face which allow you to climb up most of the way. This is about the highest point you can get to. Pretty much one jump from here and I will be removed. So now I could put 10 droplets into my magnet rather than 80, but I'll put some more in just for kicks. Ooh, listen to it chirp as it whizzes past. That's a happy heart. Sometimes the heart will collide with the glyph, causing the physics objects to fly off at a wild tangent. Sometimes they'll somehow end up following each other around, like a coupling of butterflies, for a bit of sickly sweet imagery. Hang on a sec. Your heart from its pedestal I have shaken, its dead weight dropped to reawaken, just one of many I have taken, devoured with a side of bacon. That's at least as good as some of the rubbish love song lyrics we get nowadays, right?
Hysteric. This glyph charges the air with color and creates a ring around its creator. Everything surrounding the ring is then scalded with color, while the creator remains protected. The more color used in creating the glyph, the greater the damage will be, and the larger the area affected.
Hysteric? Sounds like I should do something slightly more interesting. As it is, it's pretty much an upgrade to the original shield glyph. And this is not the web glyph, so we're going to have to look in the garden. The exit was right here, so I took it. There is a small area underneath the giant hand, but nothing ever appears there. It's not very interesting. Just a small little crevasse to get stuck in. I'll head there straight away. The brothers don't mind you watching the meet. And if I go in, I'll only see the brother in the chamber that he normally speaks to us from. Oh, that was perfect timing. I won't see him speaking to me from the chamber that I'm about to enter. It would take far too much time to insert every single brother into every single chamber, and there are several ones where it wouldn't work at all, so this is completely understandable. The brothers have 3 different areas between them anyway.
In here, Sarge.
I don't know what you're thinking. You can't pass the trials. Warden has already decided everything. But you're right. You should fight to the very end, and the pangolin must be killed as soon as possible. It consumes color. When there were only a few predators, we could close our eyes to the mischief. But a giant like this one could drain color from the entire void.
This chamber presents a load of interesting questions. There's a boat just lodged in here, as if it's been driven up by outsiders. Abandoned, it's gone all rusty a bit. There's a similar sort of ghostly shipwreck feel on the shores of Uta's chamber, but this is something much larger in scale. You can imagine actual people getting off, wandering around, succumbing to the void's complete lack of habitability. The easiest way to explain it is probably the void trying to drag in something from the real world, from a memory perhaps. It's given it the same sheen of decay as everything else. Maybe it only knows how to visualize things in a dead state, which for a boat would be washed up on a shore in shallow water. You can't explore along the deck any further than I went, by the way. You see how these portals appear at this area on the lower level? Well, if you go beyond that on the ship, then you'll enter the void uncontrollably.